Hey guys, HackerSploit here, back again with another video. Just wanted to make a quick little video that covers, one of the most important resources for anyone getting into cybersecurity or computer science for that matter. So I usually get a lot of questions that are pertinent to, the fundamentals of computer science, and they're very, very important in cybersecurity, primarily because in order to actually attack a system or to exploit a system, you need to know how that system works. And I've said it over the last couple of years that I do recommend having a background in computing if you want to actually be successful in cybersecurity for that very matter. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the things covered within a computer science program are, fundamental to understanding computing in general, and understanding, specialized topics within computing like programming, algorithms, operating system design, so on and so forth. So the title of this video, as it says, is going to be around the open source computer science degree. So this is going to be a set of resources for anyone who is interested in learning the fundamentals of computer science, either for the purpose of getting into cybersecurity, or for anyone who wants to pursue a career in technology and maybe does not have the ability to go to university or anything like that. So again, the set of resources that I'm going to be going through in this video are going to be absolutely free, and the links to these resources will be in the description section. So again, the title of this video refers to the open source computer science degree. Now, there are multiple variations of this out there on the internet, and I've collated some of the best resources that you can actually use. Now, the key thing that I want to highlight here is, of course, many people say that you can pretty much find any information that you require online, and that's perfectly true. But when it comes down to an online self-paced degree that's absolutely free, one of the most important things that you require, or that is required, is structure, right? And you need to have structure similar to what you'd have in a university or a college. So let's get started with the first resource. The first resource is OSSU, which stands for the Open Source Society University. This is the GitHub repository right over here, and this is a path to a self-taught education in computer science, as it says right over here. So you can go through the summary. It essentially gives you a breakdown of what this particular program or this particular set of resources will help you achieve or will help you learn. So as you can see in the summary here, and I'll just go through the first few lines. The OSSU curriculum is a complete education in computer science using online materials. It's not merely for career training or professional development. It's for those who want a proper, well-rounded grounding in concepts fundamental to all computing disciplines, and for those who have the discipline, will, and most importantly, good habits to obtain this education largely on their own, but with support from a worldwide community of fellow learners. So it's designed according to the degree requirements of undergraduate computer science majors minus general education, so non's computer science requirements, as it is assumed most of the people following this curriculum are already educated outside of computer science. The courses themselves are among the very best in the world, often coming from Harvard, Princeton, MIT, but specifically chosen to meet the following criteria. So again, this particular degree is designed, very, very closely, or is designed, to resemble as closely as possible a typical undergraduate computer science degree, right, or a bachelor degree in computer science. So again, the criteria for the courses is that they must be open for enrollment, must be run regularly, they're self-paced, of course, and must be high quality, and must match the curricular standards of CS 2013, which is a set of curriculum guidelines for undergraduate degree programs in computer science, which is great, right? So the organization for this particular program, if I can call it that, is it's sorted out into various categories similar to a computer science degree. You have an intro to computer science, you then have core computer science, and then advanced computer science, and finally you have the final project where you validate, consolidate, and display your knowledge, and you essentially validate what you've learned so far. So the duration, again, as I said, it's possible to finish this within 2 years if you plan carefully and devote roughly 20 hours a week to your studies. You can, again, if you're really focused and concentrated and you have the will to actually go through this, you can complete it in a year. I think that's a good amount of time. And as for the cost, sorry, you can see that all or nearly all, all course material is available for free. However, some courses may charge money for assignment, tests, or projects to be graded. So most of the courses are actually facilitated or actually available on Coursera. But as I said, the most important thing here with these open source programs is they're structured, and that's very, very important. They're structured in a way that a typical computer science degree is structured. So for example, you can see within the curriculum, you have the prerequisites. You have Intro to Computer Science, which covers Intro to Programming, Intro to Computer Science. So for example, if I click on Intro to CS, that'll take me directly to that particular section, and it starts off with Introduction to Programming. So again, it has a course right over here that'll introduce you to programming, and the course of choice is Python for Everybody. So I can click on that, and it's going to redirect me to the web page, which is again covers it's essentially the Python for Everybody web page that covers the entire process of learning how to use Python, which is it's actually a fantastic resource. I have gone through it when I was trying to learn how to incorporate regular expressions within some of my Python scripts. So for example, it covers object-oriented programming with Python, network programming, which is very, very important in cybersecurity, and it covers the process of writing network sockets. And of course, as you already know, that's one of the most important things you can do, and I'm specifically referring to cybersecurity here. So absolutely fantastic resources for anyone, and the way it sorts it, it gives you the duration that it'll take to actually complete it. And this is, of course, a generalized duration, and it's based on the amount of effort that you'll need to put in per week. So if you put in 10 hours a week, you'll be able to complete it in 10 weeks, right? So you can do that. It doesn't have any prerequisites, which is pretty standard if you're learning Python. Although if you are familiar with the programming language already, it'll make that process much simpler. So if you double that time to, let's say, maybe 20 or 30 hours a week, if you're really, really dedicated, then you can shorten that period. So if it's 20 hours a week, then it's only going to take about 5 to 6 weeks. In regards to Introduction to Computer Science, you can see we have a course here. So that's Introduction to Computer Science and Programming using Python. And if I click on that, that is provided by edX, and this particular course is provided by MIT, and it is absolutely free to actually enroll, as you can see right over here, and you can pay about $75 to get a verified certificate of completion. Right, so it gives you an idea of what you'll learn, and again, this is being provided by MIT, which is fantastic. You can pretty much learn what everyone else learns at MIT, or something very similar to that. And again, you can click on the course introduction video to give you an idea of what will be covered in depth. And you can see it starts on this particular course has already started on June the 2nd, and you can already enroll and go through the previous sections before. So again, you can see about 1.1 million people have already enrolled. So again, fantastic there. You also have Core Computer Science, which again covers how to code simple data, complex data, programming languages, part A, part B, part C. You then have math electives, and a lot of people really don't like math, but if you do like math, you can actually go through it, and the prerequisites are actually listed over here. So you require high school mathematics, calculus 1A, calculus 1B. It also covers algebra, logic, which is very, very important. I really like, this particular course, Introduction to Logic. I actually went through it. It's a free course on Coursera. And again, you can pay for a certificate if you want one. So again, you can go through the syllabus right over here. And it covers introduction, propositional logic, propositional analysis, etc., etc. Right? So you can go through the entire, the entire curriculum here, and you can get started wherever you feel you're comfortable. But I would recommend going through it in order. And again, if you're only looking to learn or improve certain parts of your knowledge, or to fill certain gaps within your knowledge, you can go through this. As I said, if you want to learn Python, this is a great way. Python for Everybody is a great way of actually learning Python, and it really is fantastic. So that is the OSSU program, which is right over here. The second one, which again is again the OSSU program, but in this particular case, this is their website. You can actually go onto it. It's structured in a much simpler way, and it's much easier to understand. You can go into the curriculum here, and it actually does that. It sorts it out really, really well. So for example, Introduction to Computer Science, You then have math, algorithms, programming paradigms, software testing, math, calculus, software architecture, theory, software engineering, so on and so forth. So this is structured in a much better way. You can log in with GitHub to track your progress if you want, and that is the OSSU. So again, the Open Source Society University is a community of students of all levels completing a comprehensive project-based open source computer science curriculum, helping each other and sharing their experiences and code through GitHub and our community forums. So, really, really fantastic stuff they're doing here. Absolutely fantastic resource. Definitely check it out if you are interested in furthering your knowledge or improving or, getting rid or filling the gaps within your knowledge already. The second resource is again called the Open Source CS Degree, and again it's sorted similar to the OSSU, but it's a bit less comprehensive. But it has the resources, very, very similar resources in terms of quality. So again, it's inspired by the Open Source Data Science Masters. This project aims to do the same for an undergraduate computer science degree. The following document outlines free online courses from top schools like Harvard, Stanford, and MIT. The groupings by term are meant to pace and structure the course according to a typical science track, computer science track at a college or university. The focus is on the core computer science courses. Liberal arts or gen ed courses have been omitted. So that's one important thing. Your typical general education courses like philosophy or language courses have been omitted, so that you only have the technology aspect of it. So you have this. The reason why I added this particular resources is because it actually sorts it out in the form of terms. So you have term 1, it gives you an introduction to computer science, discrete mathematics, data structures, computer architecture. So it's sorted out into 4 course loads, similar to what you'd have if you are in university. So you have your first class, intro to computer science. You have your second class, discrete mathematics, data structures, and computer architecture. The reason why I really like this particular course is it covers additional aspects that are not in the OSSU. So for example, you have user experience design, intro to web development, intro to databases, operating systems, computer graphics, which is fantastic. I particularly like the inclusion of operating systems. So you have the UC Berkeley CS162 class, which is extremely famous. If you're familiar with some of the most popular computer science courses out there in regards to operating systems. You then have your term 3, which covers algorithms, system engineering, etc., etc. I'm not going to be going through this all, but you can see it covers advanced topics like machine learning, parallel computing, etc. So again, another fantastic resource. I just wanted to mention that the OSSU computer science program, which I should just drag right over here, also has a course page that actually allows you to enroll. It's absolutely free, and what this does is it actually structures all the content into an academy format or an online course format. So again, once you enroll, it'll sort everything out really, really well. So you can go through that, and if you're not content with the structure that's provided to you through the GitHub repository or through the official website, you can use their course page right over here. And again, it's absolutely free to enroll into, and it just provides you with a structured system to actually go through each particular course and track your progress accordingly. So the next resource is a spreadsheet, and this is known as, again, essentially just a list of resources that are actually part of a standard computer science curriculum that, again, are structured to give you everything you need to know, or everything that would be covered in a bachelor degree in computer science. So again, it's sorted into the alias, level, discipline, who it's offered by, the course title, the credits, and the link. Now, most of these resources are available on YouTube, with a few exceptions. Most of the other courses are either from Stanford, MIT, or are on Coursera. So, for example, the reason why I added this resource is because it actually adds, additional resources on sites like YouTube, which is great. A lot of people learn a lot of things from YouTube, and most of these courses are actually full. So you can see it's offered by Stanford CS 106B. This is Introduction to Programming. So this is the course title is Programming Abstraction. So I can click on that and it's going to take me to the YouTube playlist, which in this case it doesn't for some weird reason. It looks like that particular playlist doesn't really exist. So that's again something that isn't added there. Most of the links might be expired, but again, you can go through that yourself. Let's take a look at a few more here. You have Intensive Introduction to Computer Science that is provided by Harvard and on the edX platform. And then, of course, you can go through your second trimester, which contains the theory of computation, programming paradigms, coding the matrix, linear algebra through computer science applications, Introduction to Linux, another great course on edX, fantastic course actually. I actually went through it. If some of the links don't work, you can actually just search for the course name. So for example, I can search for Introduction to Linux right over here. Let me just search for that. I should actually bring that up over here. So let me just go into the courses. There we are, Introduction to Linux. That's provided by the Linux Foundation. So another great course there. Fantastic resource as well. So again, this particular spreadsheet might have some of the links not working, but you can simply just search for the course title on that particular platform and you should be able to find it. Most of these courses are regularly updated and are running regularly throughout the year. Through multiple semesters of the year, so you can actually go through them whenever you have time within that particular season or that particular semester. So again, it also contains advanced topics that are relevant to cybersecurity. So for example, security and cryptography. You also have cryptography 1, cryptography 2, so on and so forth. And it also covers mobile development to a certain degree, C++, hardware and software interface course that's provided by University of Washington, another great course, which I was actually happy to see added on here. You also have a course on compilers, which again, these are the things that are really, really important and will make your actual process, will make the process of you getting into cybersecurity much more easy. And again, everything is sorted out really, really well here. So you can go through them, step by step, and you can progress really, really easily. You also have your elective tracks, which again is sorted out really well. So artificial intelligence, computer engineering, computer graphics, cryptography, data management, networking, which I do recommend, and operating systems. It also provides you with a legend and a good link, some good links for self-learning, which is great. Some of these links are fantastic. One of the websites that I wanted to take you through, which is also really, really good, is a site called teachyourselfcs.com or teachyourselfcomputerscience.com. So again, I'll just go through the introduction here. So if you're a self-taught engineer or bootcamp graduate, you owe it to yourself to learn computer science. Thankfully, you can give yourself a world-class computer science education without investing years and a small fortune in the degree program. There are plenty of resources out there, but some are better than the others. You don't need yet another 200 plus free online courses. You need answers to these questions. Which subjects should you learn and why? And what is the best book or video lecture series for each subject? So this is a very important tidbit that I wanted to touch on here. Is, there are tons of resources on the internet, but you actually need structure. Structure is extremely important, and again, you can trust me on this. If you actually incorporate structure and a habitual learning process for yourself, because self-taught or self-teaching or teaching yourself things, advanced concepts like for example, operating system design, are extremely complicated, and if you don't have the will and you don't have the actual wherewithal to go through that particular training program, even though it's absolutely free, then you're really not going to move forward. So everything out there now is free, and now, as you can see, you have structure to it, so you can definitely go through this. And I would recommend just going, taking classes on in areas where you're not really good, or you don't have any rudimentary knowledge in. So really fantastic. So the too long didn't read, or TLDR here, is study all 9 subjects below in roughly the presented order, using either the suggested textbook or video lecture series, but ideally both. Aim for 100 to 200 hours of study of each topic, then revisit the favorites through your career. So It's sorted out into the subject, why you should study it, which I think is fantastic. That's a very, very good addition there, because it's now giving you the motivation to actually go through it. The book, which is also fantastic. Some of the books here are actually classics and are timeless resources that I would actually recommend you go ahead and get. And then the videos, some of the best courses that cover that particular subject. So for example, I can just take you through programming. This book here, Structure and Interpretation of Computer Programs, is arguably one of the best introductory books to programming. So again, it goes through the book, and it covers the MIT lectures that you should go through. And again, it gives you a simple guide as to how you should go through it, how you should actually use these resources. And it also covers computer architecture, and it covers algorithms. These are some of the other good books here. And then of course operating systems, and of course the book Operating Systems right over here is again, one really, really good book. As you can see, it tells you this is a dinosaur book, which means it's an old book, but it's still being used in universities today, because it really, really breaks down the structure of an operating system and how operating systems are designed, right? And then of course for computer networking, you get the book here, and then you get the course right over here. So for each of these topics, it gives you the book and the courses that you should actually go through. And then of course, languages and compilers, distributed systems, so on and so forth, right? And this particular site, the reason why I really, really like this site, it gives you advice as to how you should actually approach these resources, how you should set up yourself, and how you should provide yourself with realistic timelines, because realistic timelines are very, very important. Because if you think you can cover all of these things in a few hours, then you're really cheating yourself and no one else. Another good set of resources, another good link that I wanted to share with you is actually called Functional Computer Science. It's a self-learning modern computer science curriculum. And it sorts it out into a very, very well defined table of contents. It's structured in the form of a book. So again, you can see, again, the reason I actually selected this particular resource is it gives you an introduction. It gives you studying strategies, which is fantastic. It gives you a Discord channel that you can join, and you can actually collaborate with others who are going through it. So for example, the preliminaries are Introduction to Computer Science. It gives you the course here, the lectures, so on and so forth. It then gives you the tools, and then of course it covers all of the topics similar to any of the other programs that I've just covered. So for example, you have discrete mathematics, and then we can go into operating system, which as you can tell already is one of the areas that I really, really like. So a good set of resources here. But all said and done, I just wanted to take you guys through these resources because I think they're extremely helpful for anyone, as I said, getting into computer science, or anyone getting into cybersecurity and want to get a grasp of the fundamentals like networking, operating systems, programming. As I said, this is a great way to get into it for absolutely free. You don't need to pay anything. The only thing you may be compelled to pay for is a certificate, but nothing else. All of these books, or most of these books, require a purchase, but again, most of them can be found online. I'm not going to tell you that you should do that, but again, if you are committed to learning, then you should definitely go through these resources, and again, they'll be in the description section. That being said, that's going to be it for this video, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.